There's this other aspect too, which I want to write about more in the future. This has to do with the witches and the black cats, which is a totally separate festival, as it turns out. Witches and black cats have nothing to do with Sowan or receiving food from people's houses by little kids. It's also, however, was part of this festival for a very, very long time. It has sort of dropped out, but not entirely. We think of Halloween now as party night, and that actually has ancient antecedents as well. There was another very, very important religious festival celebrated about the same time as Sowan was, and this was called Hilaria, or the Joys. It's also called the Search and Discovery. This relates to the goddess Isis, who was a great religious figure in pre-Christian Europe. In fact, she was the most prominent pagan divinity of pre-Christian Europe, having to some extent supplanted or absorbed other pagan divinities, both males and females. She was actually the goddess of motherhood, of courtship, fertility, of good health, also of wisdom, and she could resurrect people from the dead if they were initiated into her cult. On this particular day, around the end of October, the Hilaria was celebrated, which is the recreation of her own search for her dead husband, who had been killed by his evil brother named Seth. Her husband's name was Osiris originally, but then more recently it became Serapis, and his body had been cut into little pieces and scattered throughout the Eastern Mediterranean. She, with the help of Anubis, the dog god, joined the pieces, found all the pieces, joined them together, and through her great spiritual power, restored her dead husband to life. So it was actually a festival of joy. It was a festival of sorrow, but also of joy. It involved candlelight processions in the evening as well, and the sacred animal of Isis was a cat, specifically a black cat. This is represented, for example, in the fresco from the Temple of Isis at Pompeii, now in the Archaeological Museum of Naples, where a black cat is depicted standing on a ledge that is overlooking the priest, an Egyptian priest reading from a scroll, and the cat is crouching down, and you say, well, it's just a black cat. How can that be important? Black cat has a gold diadem on its head that was a symbol of divinity, and since it is in the Temple of Isis, there's no doubt that that cat was regarded as a living incarnation of the goddess Isis, and it's a very critical depiction showing that animal in particular was of very, very great importance to the religion. And the attributes of Isis, this motherhood, fertility, marriage, family, good health, all were transmitted into Western Europe, where they survive today in folklore. It's a very, very interesting story. The black cat was also guardians of ships, and it was thought that they could cause storms, another attribute of Isis as well. In the Welsh and Western English tradition, there's an entity called the Great Storm Cat, which is nothing less than the goddess Isis that is causing these storms, as she was supposed to do in her religious cult. And there's no doubt that this comes from Isis because the Celts don't have anything like it, and in fact is a Greco-Roman idea. This is still there. Today, cats are regarded as good luck. They cure diseases. A black cat, I've heard said, can charm all ill away and keep the house wherein she dwells from fever's deadly sway. That's one Welsh folk song, folk saying about it.